Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Wealth Defense Radio, the podcast. I am your host, Josh Nahosa, and I am an independent advisor representative for SWAN DFW, which stands for Sleep Well at Night Dallas Fort Worth, and is the company that puts on this podcast. And I am here with a man whose birthday was yesterday as you are listening to this. Okay. If you are listening to it on the day that it came out, and his name is Hector and Josh.
Welcome. Good morning. Thank you for listening. Please hit the like and subscribe button at the bottom. It would really help us out.
Yeah, maybe comment happy birthday.
Yes.
To
and for
Hector.
Everybody that does, we'll get you free tickets to the Oprah Winfrey show. Oh, wait, that's off the air. So, still, we could do that.
Hector was the man that started SWAN DFW.
That's right.
10 plus years ago.
January of 2014, so it'll be 11 years in January. Wow.
Pretty crazy stuff.
Pretty crazy stuff.
Last week, we talked about Roth conversions, and we started talking about ways to manage your taxes in retirement. We promised a mini-series about that. So this episode is actually the second episode of like how to manage your taxes in retirement.
Yeah. And this one is going to be more about, okay, once we get income, and maybe next week we will do a how to generate tax-free income without a Roth conversion. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. So before we do that,
okay,
a little bit of, I guess, interesting news. Elon Musk has had a very exciting last couple of weeks. He caught a rocket with chopsticks, essentially.
Basically.
He unveiled a couple of new vehicles. But the most exciting one to me is that he released a humanoid robot, almost like a C-3PO from Star Wars looking unit.
Yeah. And amazing some of the things they can do. And I heard him make a comment that they'll be walking amongst us soon. That's good because we're not crowded enough. We need more people going to football games, and hopefully they won't get cars, and then we'll have more cars on the road. I can imagine them sitting at the Department of Motor Vehicles trying to get their licenses.
Yeah.
Because it's not very crowded down there either. But they are remarkable.
They are something special. They are also notably not very good at rock, paper, scissors. I think they're winning at like a 20% clip.
Well, the fact that they can play that is pretty good. Yeah.
So anyway, it's interesting.
It is.
It's the future is here.
It is.
I guess.
And I think as, like self-driving cars, there's a couple of manufacturers in China and obviously Tesla, but especially as Americans age, one of the hardest things for Americans is to give up our car when we can't drive anymore. And that really makes older Americans' world very small. But if you had a CP3O that could drive you anywhere you wanted to go, or a self-driving car, well, now things change and it's going to be way safer than, most people. Not me, because I'm an expert driver, and I never get complaints from my family about my driving. But there are some people that are challenged when they drive.
Yeah, for sure. Just thought that was interesting. So let's get into tax planning.
Yeah. Not Texas planning, but tax planning.
Yeah.
Although the first answer is Texas, but it's not the same as tax planning.
Yeah. So we're going through an article from Investopedia.
One of my favorite pedias.
That article will be linked in the description of either Spotify or YouTube or however you are listening or watching. Let's go through these. We have 5 of them. The first one is live in a tax-friendly state. One of the best strategies for saving taxes on retirement income is to live in a state that doesn't tax you.
Pay income tax. We have a client in Louisiana. We're getting ready to do some work for us. I said, well, I need to understand what the taxes in Louisiana are. And she said, well, we don't have income taxes in Louisiana. And I did a quick search and I said, yes, you do. And it's 4.25%. Now, understand that in those states, sales tax is going to be a little lower, but still, income tax in the state of Texas is not tax, and that's why we get lots of people from heavily taxed states that come and live here. And Florida has the kind of the same situation. A lot of people from New York move to Florida. So yeah, being a tax-friendly state is a great start, and for most of us that were born here, it's easy.
For those of you maybe listening and don't know us, we're based out of Texas.
Fort Worth, Texas.
So when he says born here, he's talking about Texas. There's actually 7 states with no income tax. So that's Alaska, Florida, Nevada, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and Wyoming.
Yeah, but only one of them has a really bad football team right now.
Yeah.
Go Cowboys. Go Texans. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Number 2 is reassess your investments. Why don't you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, for some people, especially in what's called a non-qualified account, that means that it didn't qualify for any special tax privileges, which is basically your 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, Roth IRAs, 457s, all of those qualified accounts. If you have it in a non-qualified account, it might make some sense to buy a municipal bond, because the income from a municipal bond is tax-free. You might also do dividend stocks, and we have a lot of people in those. We have really the highest paying dividend stocks in the S&P 500, and we have a basket of those. But probably, and again, this is only for non-IRA accounts, because in the IRA, whatever you take out, you're going to be taxed on. But for non-IRA accounts, we have a thing called tax harvesting. So if you have 2 stocks, well, let's hope you have more than 2 stocks, and you had a $1,000 gain in one stock and a $1,000 loss in a second stock, if you take the gain on the winner and go ahead and sell the loss on the loser, you've captured some gain, but more importantly, you're able to do that without paying any kind of taxes. You've harvested a tax loss. And so tax harvesting is something that we do, and it's done for non-qualified accounts. So be aware of that, but make sure you follow through. We have a client who just got burned as his advisor sold all of the gains.
His previous
advisor, before he came over here, sold all of his gains in like March, which is not a bad thing. It was capturing all the gains from the year before, but left the organization sometime 2 or 3 months later. So nobody went in and sold the losses. And of course, the client was shocked, I tell you, at the tax bill he received. So make sure you follow through on that. Usually we like to do them at the same time, so we don't let that happen.
Yeah. Number 3 here is postpone or redirect your RMDs.
I've never heard anybody postponing their RMDs. I don't really know what they mean. Most of us are going to wait until we have to start taking money out. And an RMD is called a required minimum distribution. The deal we made with the government way back when we were putting money in our 401k or IRA is that at some point that money was going to be taxable. For a long time, that age was 70 and a half. And you had to take a certain percentage, roughly it's between 4 and 5%, and you can reinvest it, but you've got to take it out of the IRA or 401k or 403b because they need to generate the taxes on it. Recently, 70 and a half got pushed back to 73. And so, yeah, don't take it before you need it, but when you have to take it, you need to take it at 73. But an interesting thing that happens when you're in an RMD, and this is the circle is going to get really smaller. So you're an RMD and you like supporting a qualified 501c3 organization. Could be a church, It could be just a nonprofit organization. It could be anything. In traditional ways of doing it, you would take, let's say that you wanted to do a $10,000 contribution. You would take $10,000 or more, call it $12,500. So you pay the 20% in taxes. So you'd have the $10,000, and you would send the $10,000 to your church or your nonprofit organization. That's the traditional way of doing it. If you are in your RMD, I could take, say, $10,000 worth of Apple stock and send it directly. Most 501c3s have an account just for this. I can send $10,000 worth of stock to that nonprofit, and that $10,000 satisfies my RMD, counts towards my RMD, but I don't have to pay taxes on that money, and the nonprofit gets the full $10,000. And so that's a really neat way of being able to support some of the things that may be important to you, satisfy your RMD, and lower your taxes. So there you go. Talk to a tax professional. None of these things are actionable until you talk. We're certified to a CPA, because we are a financial planning firm. I am a certified financial planner, but I don't know enough about your situation to offer tax advice. And even when we do, we don't offer tax advice. So there you go.
Something to note, Roth IRAs, not subject to RMDs. The reason the government makes you take out RMDs is because they want your tax money. Mm-hmm. But Roths, they've already gotten your tax money.
That's right.
So there's no reason for them to force you to take it out, so they just don't.
That's right. That's right. And that's why last week's Roth conversion makes some sense, because especially if that's your legacy part, if that's the money you're going to leave to your kids and grandkids, when we convert that to a Roth, one, you don't have to take it out. Secondly, they don't have to, of course they will, because there's no taxes due, but that's the big thing, is there's no taxes due.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. Number 4 here. Consider a deferred annuity. So there's different kinds of annuities. Different ones work for different people. There's different reasons you would set one up.
Yeah, we have what we call a twofer when we do, and a large part of our clients have annuities. It just fits very nicely into a good financial plan, because the way we set them up, we have lifetime income. So that's really the reason we do it. But what we also do, if I'm getting $25,000, $30,000, $35,000 from a annuity, and it'll be taxable because I rolled it out of my IRA, that's going to satisfy my RMD. And so the other IRA I have with my custodian, we can pretty much leave it alone. Now, we can do Roth conversions and do a lot of different things with it, but we don't have to. The whole idea is you get more freedom. So looking at an annuity for other than, for making sense on 2 different levels, lifetime income stream for the spouses, for both husband and wife, and taking the RMD kind of out of the picture once we turn the income on. Makes some sense?
Yeah, there are pros and cons to annuities. You should talk to a professional before you go in and make that decision, because everybody's situation is a little bit different. And
you're right. There's 1,000 different kinds of annuities. No, maybe not 1,000. There's lots and lots of, and there's different writers and all of that. So get with somebody you trust, somebody who's an independent, and let them run through all your annuity options. But usually you'll find something that kind of fits and makes the plan work, and gives you some flexibility on taxes.
Yeah. The last point here, number 5, is be strategic about Social Security benefits.
Yeah, pre-pandemic, we did a tax workshop, and we may at some point do another one where we just talked about taxes. And one of the most interesting things that we talked about is that most people are told that automatically you should wait to take your Social Security benefits until you turn 70. And for most of us, that makes sense, because you get an 8% bump for every year that you don't take it after your full retirement age. So that's a good thing. But if you're waiting to take it at 70, And at 65 or 66, you're having to supplement your income through your IRA. Then what's happening is you're paying a much higher tax rate on the money you're taking out of the IRA than you would be paying if you flipped it and started taking your Social Security at full retirement age and then waiting on your IRA to start taking the money out. And when we showed that slide, we used to do it in the evenings and after work, and it was probably halfway through the deck, and we could see people kind of nodding off. And then when we hit them with that slide and showed them how much they saved in taxes, everybody woke up and we had a bunch of questions. So if you want to see that illustration, give us a call. Josh is going to give you some phone numbers and how to get hold of us, and we can run that by you. Does it work for everybody? It doesn't, but it might be worth at least looking at so you're making a good decision about how you're going to do that.
Yeah, so if you would like to talk to us two, me and Hector, that's us most of the time. We.
That's yes in French.
Yeah. If you would like to talk to the two of us, we have a couple different ways that you can do that. And the first way is with a phone number, and that phone number is 888-SWAN-DFW. That's 888-792-6339. The other way, if you would prefer written correspondence, is with an email address, and that is info@swandfw.net. That's info@swandfw.net. Those will be on the screen if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, they will be in the description.
Yeah.
It's free to call, free to email.
Yeah, just go to swandfw.net. There's a link there where you can get a hold of us. Please like and subscribe to these because it really helps us out, and hopefully more and more people that need, hopefully some good information that we're doing for free. It will help them out if it helped you out.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening, and we will catch y'all in the next one.
Thank you, and have a blessed day.
The preceding content is informational only and based on information available when created. It is not an offer or solicitation, nor is it tax or legal advice. It does not consider your financial circumstances and objectives and may not be suitable for you.